I am Tara Bentley, and I'm the Executive Director for the Indiana Association of Home Educators, otherwise known as the IAHE.
Hi, I'm Cindy Briggs. I'm a homeschool mom and a volunteer with IAHE.
We're here bringing you this podcast to share with you a lot of great information about homeschooling here in Indiana. This will be a place to learn about homeschooling, find the support you need, all in the Hoosier State.
Each week, we're going to focus on a different topic in the homeschool world. We'll bring you special guests and information that's going to help you on your homeschool journey. So let's get started. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Homeschool Indiana podcast. This is Cindy. And again, we're just so happy to have you here. We're glad that you're coming back every week and listening to us. This week, it's just me. I'm without Tara. But I have a special guest, and it's somebody you've heard about. We've talked about this special guest several times on our podcast, and we finally said, you know what? It's time to bring the special guest on. So the special guest today is my son, Jackson. Jackson, can you say hi?
Hi, so nice to be here today.
So why are we bringing my son on to the podcast? Well, you've heard us talk about different things when Tara and I have been talking, and we talk about situations because I'm still in the homeschooling time like so many of you are, and the day-to-day, all of it. And we use Jackson as an example many times, and many times he's in the other room and hears himself as an example. But today we thought we would bring him on and we would kind of talk about some of the things that we have shared on the podcast. So Jackson, you good with this?
Yeah.
You're good. He's good. So one of the things, and what we're doing right now, you've heard us talk about, Tara and I, and we've joked about it a couple of times, is we're actually doing our podcast conversation over our tea time. And you're probably thinking, okay, wait, I don't know what you're talking about with the tea time. Well, this got brought up several episodes ago when I was saying that this is something that we enjoy doing as part of homeschool. We like having regular tea times where we actually kind of do the full service tea. We took a course, an online course by Micah Meyer, who I just adore, and she's written several books, and I will put her link in the show notes. We took a course on this probably about a year ago, maybe, Jackson?
Yeah, that seems right.
Probably about a year ago, we took a course because we wanted to learn more, right? Why did we do that? Why did we take the class?
Well, I personally enjoy looking nice, being nice, having proper
manners.
Proper manners. Yes, thank you. And this seemed like a good thing because in a lot of social events, maybe not here, but
you have to know what to do, right?
Yeah.
And so we thought it would be fun, and we used it as part of our homeschool curriculum for a little bit of going through the course and just learning how to do proper tea times, so now we kind of have fun doing it. We went on a quest to find all of the pieces, right? Like we went to antique stores, and it became quite the journey to find everything we wanted for our tea times. But so what did you learn? What are some of the things that you learned when we took that class? Do you remember any of the little details?
Well, I remember how to hold the cup.
Yeah.
I remember to take sips, not slurps, to always let the women get their
tea first.
biscuits, teas, get all those first, and always pour the tea for them.
Right. What I remember, do you remember the whole thing? Because, you grow up thinking about tea time and you think you got to stick that little pinky out. Like it just, and we learned what on that?
We learned that you don't do that because actually in probably about the 18th.
Oh, I don't even remember. A long time ago.
People used to hold not cups with handles, but just these little oval cups with
almost like saucers or something.
Yeah, almost like a dome. And they stick their pinky out for balance.
Yeah. And then now we have the
handles, so we don't
stick our finger out, although we do sometimes just because we think it's kind of funny, and we do. But we learned place settings, and we learned just, how to set up the tea and what to do. And you might be thinking, I really have no interest in tea time. And you might be thinking, okay, I'm going to click off this episode. Well, don't leave us yet. It's not all about tea time, but really kind of what we're talking about here in that homeschooling world is chasing, just chasing things that are our interest. Excuse me. We chase things of interest, and this was just one of those things at the time we all had an interest in, and we thought, well, this would be fun to learn, and we were able to go down that road. We were able to spend, a couple of weeks just learning more, digging deep, right?
Because I love etiquette. That's the word.
Right.
Etiquette.
Yes. You do. And you took a course on etiquette. We actually went
did,
down into
yeah.
Kentucky one time. And I can share that link too. I'll share
Yeah,
all the links of places that we've done, but kind of a person that I came in contact with a couple of years ago runs an etiquette school down in Lexington, Kentucky, and you got to go do a formal dinner one day,
Yeah.
and learn just all the things of doing that. So
I gotta say, I looked pretty dapper.
he looked dapper in his jacket and tie, right? It was
Yeah.
it was fun. But it was one of those moments where he found interest in it. It was something that we were like, you know what? You would not get this in a typical traditional school model, but we can go down this path. We can investigate, we can learn more, we can read books, we can, just do all of the things. And you had fun doing it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I had lots of fun.
And we still use it. We still use it, and sometimes you correct our etiquette from your
Lots of
classes.
times. I'm a know-it-all.
And so he corrects our etiquette if we do something a little bit wrong, which is great. We like that. But it goes back to this idea, and you've heard us now, and so I'm gonna put Jackson on the spot here a lot, because you've heard us talk on the podcast about just this benefit of homeschooling and finding what passions are within your children and being able to do that passion and be able to take it where it might go. So we also probably, has it been a year or two, you really got interested in horses, and just,
I'd say it's been more than that.
more than two,
I
you
mean,
think?
probably about 3 or 4.
Probably 3 or 4 that you which, again, mommy's from Kentucky, so an interest in horses is vital in my world. Not
Big
really.
Derby fan.
But exactly, big Derby fan. But you found an interest in horses. And so even from the researching of horses and how they're used, we were able to start taking horseback riding lessons. So
Yeah.
you did that, which, we go from tea time to horseback riding lessons, which it's the things that just are an interest at that moment, which there's lots of them. Again, Jackson's 11. And so we go down a lot of interests, right?
Yeah, and I've always thought it was funny how since we went to from tea time to horses, how something that's so dirty like horses can be turned into something so fancy.
With tea time, exactly.
polo.
Right. We did that last summer. We actually went to a polo match, and again, if you're listening in Indiana, I'll share that link on the polo match where they have those down near Indy, more the Carmel area, but they have polo match, and we were able to go do that to just see what that was like. And so what I guess as a parent is that I'm saying in this is just to find out those things that might be of an interest to your children. And if you have more than one, you can, take turns and say, okay, this month or this season, we're going to learn about this, and we're all going to do it. We're all going to learn about the interest of, a sibling. But it's been fun to just see the other things we can do. So as we're talking about this, Jackson, and I have you now on this podcast, okay, so we've been homeschooling now, we're going into 4 years. And what do you love about homeschooling? Why do you love it so much? Because we've never had, even when I bring up, is this right? And as many parents, you all might think there's times where, are we doing it right? Is this okay? Am I doing it okay? Should we be doing it? We've never landed on going back to traditional school, have we?
In this world, I mean, I'm not a fan of this saying, but there's really no right or wrong in this world.
Yeah.
Like in the homeschool world.
Yeah. What do you mean by that? There's no right or wrong.
Well, you can never be people have different opinions.
Yeah.
And one opinion could be, okay, I want my children to go out in nature and do and chop wood and do bird calls, and that could be their school day.
Right.
And then other parents and kids, usually the kids want to be involved too. They get sometimes kids just want to be in a chair doing some school books, and
Right.
they can do that. Um,
But it's not a either or, is it? And
no, you
it's
can do them all.
funny, as we were preparing to talk in this podcast and just talking about questions we might want to cover or things that you all might want to know, I said, is there things that we would do differently? And we have already talked about this, so this is not news to me, but what was the thing that you said that we've done the past few years that we're going to go away from now?
We have, because this is what we thought was right. We've always gotten a whole curriculum and done it the whole year.
Right.
And then usually every year we'd switch the curriculums.
Because we'd find something different,
Yeah.
right?
So I think it would be better if we got a month's worth of curriculum, and then once that was done, get another curriculum. It might be of the same company.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't have to be.
no, it doesn't have to be. It can be it can.
So what he's
be-
talking about, if you all, it's kind of a unit study. If you all have ever heard of unit studies. So like Jackson said, we used to, when we first started homeschooling, we did what so many people do immediately, because you think, okay, I need a curriculum, and you research and you try to find the best curriculum out there. And you know what? They are all good. They're really, all the curriculums out there have good and bad to them, but I am a all-in kind of person, and so we would find one and buy all of it and buy every piece of it, and then I would be a little more stressed out of, we have to finish this curriculum, we have to stay on track, or if the curriculum is saying it has to be done in this many days, that's what we have to do, and it would cause some stress sometimes for us.
It did. Especially since I like to explore different things, and I could get what's a
Bored? It's
Yeah,
okay to say bored.
yeah, I would get bored of just doing the same thing over and over each day, just learning a little bit of something different.
Yeah.
And
so we have found different curriculum studies that that just like, now we're doing one on Vikings, and it covers everything. It's got language arts in it. It's got the reading. It's got science and history and all of the things. Math. We had some math, but so we were looking at doing more unit studies, and together we have kind of looked at that and said, okay, for the next school year, we're going to do that a little bit more. We're going to focus more on unit studies and less on, full complete curriculums from one place, just so that it's a little more interesting and engaging, and you can choose kind of different topics, right?
Yeah, like if one time I wanted to do Vikings, and then a next unit I wanted to learn about birds,
right?
Or if I wanted to learn more about the Revolutionary War,
right? We can just kind of focus on those things, and maybe we'll even find a curriculum study on tea time.
Yeah,
we can go back and dig deep more into our etiquette and our tea time and the things that we like to do. So I want to encourage you that your children are part of this homeschool journey. I think so often when we would send kids to school, nobody's really a part of any of those decisions. It's all being made for you, for your children. And in this case, we can do it together. We can kind of come up with a plan together. Is there any other things that that you would help people, like if they were just starting out homeschooling with their kids, what suggestions would you give them?
Well, first I would talk to your kid, saying kind of getting to almost know them even more than you already do. Get to say, and kind of get the information of, are you more scattered, or are you more like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do all of this, and I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
And then you can choose a curriculum, because some of them are more scattered and more like artsy, and then other ones are more like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to write these notes down.
Right.
And really do, yeah.
So talk to your children, huh? That's the first thing.
Yeah, talk to your child. Say, what interests do you have right now? Or are you like interested in painting? Are you interested in like geometry? Just
Yeah,
kind of
any of
talk to
those
them.
things, right? Well, and then one of the other things is because so often people worry about when you start homeschooling, a lot of the things is, well, how will they get like extracurricular things, which
Yeah.
you've heard that before. Like, well, what about all the extracurricular things? Have we ever had a problem with extracurriculars?
No.
No. No, because again, finding things in your area, and we've told you on a previous podcast episode, we talked about our regions and we talked about like information on the IAHE website where we're encouraging people to get out and do field trips or get out and do different things. We've gone to science programs at in Fort Wayne at the Science Central, and that was like a once a month science program that you did.
Yeah, once a month on Tuesday.
Yeah, that you loved. And then we've done Children's Museum. We've done some those were science too, weren't they? Or were they more?
Yeah, they were more
kind of art.
At the time we went there, it was Christmas time, so they did kind of a
More craft.
Yeah, they did a craft on Christmas and all the different nations.
Oh yeah, all the different ways people celebrate or all the different holidays. Yeah, that's right. See, I even forgot about that.
See, I'm a know-it-all.
I know, you just remember. You remember these things. And then we've gone down for you that acting path, which has been another big kind of extracurricular thing for you.
Yep, I enjoy acting. I'm an actor.
Yes. And so we've done local acting. We've gone, people have heard us talk about, we've gone to Chicago for some acting. And so there are all of these opportunities. And I think what kind of comes from tea time is this idea of, it's okay. And my linear brain had a hard time with this at first because I thought, how do I loop all of these things together? Like, how do I make this into, okay, he's learned X, Y, Z. But now I look at it as every single one of these things has taught us things.
Because I'm more of the kid who, like, you can find most of a lot of the kids in me. You can find like a nature boy, you can find a reading find a reading kid who likes to just sit in the corner and dig into a book. You can find a clean one who likes to be etiquette and smart and not smart.
Everybody wants to be smart. But
everybody's smart.
Like with the manners.
I said that. Yes, manners.
Yes.
I said that wrong. Yeah, I have a lot of it, and I feel like that stressed you out at first. Like, okay, how do I get this and this and this and this and this and this and this into one?
Right. It did. I really was trying to go, okay, how do I make this into curriculum? And then I went, oh, wait, it's learning. We are learning. And that is the whole point. I mean, we are educating our children in all these different areas and in areas that I don't know about. So if I don't know, I mean, I can teach history, I can teach reading, I can teach, but when I don't know the specifics of etiquette, we find a course. When I don't know acting at all, we find people that can help you learn more about that, right?
And some people might cover the course in like an hour-long video.
Right.
And then other ones might say, okay, this will take a matter of 30 to 40 days to finish this curriculum. And
we just go with it and see. So what other, so talk to your children, find out their interests. What other suggestions would you give parents?
Hello? You're right. You are putting me on the spot.
I am putting you on the
spot. Research a lot, kind of maybe get like a day's worth of the curriculum if you can, and kind of see what the curriculum is, like if it's more structured, if it's more kind of scattered.
Well, I think one thing, and you've said this to me before, and I think is the idea that what about like parents kind of get involved with it also? Like, I mean, Daddy and I like to learn now. We're learning about Vikings because you're learning about Vikings.
Yeah, parent involvement.
Right. And that's another big thing of this homeschool arena is we get to learn as much as you do. So it's kind of like a partnership. We're learning together.
Yeah. And while you're learning together, you can usually notice if your kid is kind of getting off the subject.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that's why I like the idea of starting with a small amount of the
Like
the
to kind of doing a
curriculum.
unit study. Yeah.
Yeah, because then you can tell if your kid is kind of getting bored, not really liking it. It doesn't have enough action in it.
Yeah.
And then you can change that. Maybe it's too much.
Yeah. So it's individualized. I mean,
yeah.
that's what we talk about
Yeah.
is that it's individualized. And the other thing that you do as part of homeschool, which I want you to encourage parents and kids to, well, two things. One is volunteering. You get the opportunity to volunteer. So you've taken a passion for horses and where you do your horse riding, and now you've been volunteering, helping there with special needs kids, right?
Yeah, I volunteer there. It can be a handful, but it's fun.
Because you learn what?
Yeah, I learned how to guide the horses properly because we're not just letting the kids roam free wherever
Right.
they go. There's a handler and you have a rope connected to the horse somewhere, and then you can guide them, and it helps me learn how to be a good leader, not even of horses, just kind of everybody, of people. Yeah, I can, and it gives me animal. Basically, I get to be around animals more than my two dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to help learn that and work with another population, work with other children who can look to you for guidance too, which is a great thing to get to do. So incorporating this service learning opportunities is always a fun thing to do. We try to incorporate that where we can and how we can. The other thing is, how about our entrepreneurship worlds that we go down all the time?
I have a lot of those.
And I think we talked about the one on here before. What was your first business endeavor?
My first business endeavor was picking up dog poop and mowing lawns
in people's yards, right?
Yeah,
like, they would pay you to come and clean up their
yards. I still mow
yards.
a couple people's lawns, including my own. But I picked up dog poop for $10, $2 at the minimum, but people could pay me more if they want.
And you started this business doing this, and again, just another learning opportunity. So we've gone from, I mean, that was my hard part, as I was just saying. We've gone from, learning etiquette and tea time to horseback riding to acting to entrepreneurship and service learning. And it can seem disjointed, but when I sit back at the end of the day and say, what have we taught you? What have you learned from all of these endeavors? What are some things, like, do you have one or two big things that you feel like if we took all of this and put it in a big bucket, like, what have you learned from all of this?
Just all of it?
Yeah.
That's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Well,
you've learned your passions. You've learned more about you.
Yeah, another part is I've learned how to be patient. A lot of the things that in the curriculum that I've been doing lately, the good and the beautiful, includes patience. Like reading, there are certain books that you read, and they say, like, read this chapter, and then wait till tomorrow to read this chapter. And just
you're not so good with the patience usually.
No, but I'm getting better at it.
You're learning.
I'm getting better at it. Yeah.
And so you're learning more than just, how to add, how to do certain things. You're learning kind of life skills. You're learning more about yourself, more about the interests that you have, and that, that we can support those interests even in small ways. Now, not everybody's going to be able to, or has the area or opportunity to do some of the things that, when he shows an interest, we can find and do. But you can go to the local library, if somebody wants to learn something about, tea time.
Chances are the local library will have a book on tea or have a book on
horses or
like
music.
I'm a big fairy tale guy.
Yes.
I like fairy tales. I'm getting more into Christian fairy tales.
Like what? What are some books that you can tell people about?
The Chronicles of Narnia I'm starting up on with The Magician's Nephew. So far, it is a good reader. I mean, it's simple in a way. It's simple and it's not simple. There are some harder words in these books, but what I love about C.S. Lewis is that he writes. He can make this fairy tale world with magic and love into Christianity.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's amazing. And my most favorite book, not including the Bible, I love
Yeah.
the Bible, Bible's best, is a new book that I read actually on the Good and the Beautiful. It's The Clockmaker's Son by Ginny Phillips.
Yeah, you really liked that one, didn't
Yeah,
you?
this one changed me. It's gonna be at least a once a year reader.
Which is great. I mean, when you
Yeah.
find something like that and you can dig deep into it. And honestly, this is what most of our tea times are. We will sit and talk about books we've read. We will talk about just activities that are going on. We try to make it a time where we can just share. We do this, dinners and every time too, but at tea is just this actual effort of sitting there and like, okay, let's talk about great things that we've learned or valuable things. Yeah.
Really, what to remember is this is a parent's note. Really, what to remember is just don't overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be this big, like, oh, I'm gonna plan for my child. Don't plan your child's future. You don't have to plan for them to be the president of the United States.
Oh, darn. That's what I was planning. No, I'm kidding. I wasn't.
Hey, it's always a possibility.
I love that. And that was not even prompted. This was just a.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate anything, really. I mean, if your kid likes to do structured, very like, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna read this book, and then I'm gonna write these notes,
Great.
then that's what you do. Just,
Yeah, don't
don't
overcomplicate.
overcomplicate.
Wow, that's like words of wisdom from the 11-year-old here of let's not overcomplicate our homeschooling time together. So often I will be online and I will see people worried about where they do homeschool or, do we have the right room set up or do we have the right
park?
Yeah, we
if
go
you
to the
want.
park sometimes
You
and find a
can-
bench.
You can go to a lake to do it. You can,
We go to the library.
yeah, you can go to the library. Trust me, people do not care the least bit. And if they do, I'm not sure you want to be doing your school there in the first place.
Yeah, we've gone even to like some of the college libraries and
Yeah.
done work before just
They're
to give you a different
Yeah.
view. So we just don't have to stress out, do we, about
no.
all of it? And just
No.
it's okay if one day, you say we're going to do this instead of our normal lesson and let's see where that takes us, which might take you to regular tea times in your home, which is wonderful. Hope I can and we can like I said, we can share this information. So Jackson, we ask everybody at the end of all of our podcasts, and I think you just gave it. That might be the answer. That might have been the thing we should have stuck with. But what is your one word of wisdom? And I think I want you to give this to the children. So not the parents, but to the children. I want you to tell everybody what would be your one word of advice to kids who are being homeschooled?
Just find yourself. Don't one of my favorite sayings that I learned a couple of weeks ago now is you are a very special key for your own very special lock. That's what God made you to be. Don't try to change yourself for other people. Just be yourself.
Oh, gosh, I love that. I like his words of wisdom sometimes make me want to cry because, he gets it. And sometimes I don't as an adult. So Jackson, thank you for just sharing our tea time today and getting to share with other people who now get to know you as we've used you for, lots of different stories and lots of different things. And I do want to remind everybody, not every day is a perfect day. Don't expect perfect
No.
out of your homeschool days.
No.
If you are trying to put yourself up to that level, it will always fail. So we need to just ensure that you are having fun and enjoying your time with your child and getting to go down these roads and explore new things. So, well, Jackson, thanks for being here and thanks for jumping on and telling everybody some thoughts and some wisdom.
Well, you're welcome.
And thank you all of you again for just being here and listening to our podcast episodes, where we have some other great things planned in coming weeks. And then coming soon will be season 2 of Homeschool Indiana podcast. So we're really looking forward to that. Tara and I are so enjoying just getting to do these and putting these out there for all of you. And hopefully they are helpful. And remember, you can always drop us a line if you would like. If there's things that you want to know more of or are interested in, please just let us know. And again, all of the information that Jackson and I talked about today will be in the show notes, so you can find those. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So thanks again, everybody. And thanks, Jackson, and have a great day.
Have a great day.